Hey, my loves. Welcome back to the channel. It's your girl, Tynesha Lachey, and I'm so happy to be back on YouTube, guys, dropping more gems. Y'all know I love to give y'all the gems of what I be doing, what I be coming up with in my own little world. But before we even get into this video, y'all see what I'm doing right now. I'm just putting some Adore in my little bottle. I just want to say thank you to everyone who has supported me thus far. One of my last videos that I did reviewing one of my synthetic wigs reached over 2K views, and I just want to say thank you to everyone that actually watched that video, that actually liked it, gave it a thumbs up, and whoever commented as well. I really just want to say thank you, and that really just means a lot to me, you know. But let's get into this video, y'all. So actually I recorded this video last year, and I recorded it on my camera. I tried to be fancy and record it on my camera. I recorded it on my phone as well, and when I tried to upload it to my computer, the camera was just not having it. And I was just like, well, what in the crap am I supposed to do now? And I was going through my videos that I had, because I really wanted to push out a YouTube video in the gap, because I have some more videos that's coming, but I really want to push a video out before I uploaded some more, and this was on my phone. I was like, yes, I have to get this out to you guys. So basically in this video, this is a 613 frontal wig that I ordered. I really believe this is a 16-inch. I think this is a 16-inch that I ordered, and for this case I really didn't want to go with brown roots. I wanted to go with black roots, just to see as far as how it would come out. Like, I had this whole look in my head, and I was like, yeah, we finna do this. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Y'all know, y'all get that little look in y'all head. Y'all be like, okay, this is what I want, this is how I want to do it, and y'all half the time it don't be coming out right. But let me tell you, stick to the end of this video, watch the end of the video, because this wig came out bomb. Okay, bomb.com. So right now what I have is, I have the jet black, I believe, in the Adore. I really don't use Kiss as much. As far as when I'm dyeing my hair or my wigs, I mainly go to Adore. I've tried Kiss. I really don't, I'm not for sure. I don't know if it's their colors. I don't know, like, it's just not as vibrant to me as Adore is. So all of my units that I color, I always use Adore. So for this particular unit, I'm using the jet black and Adore, and as you can see, I have that, I don't know what this comb called, y'all. It got the little it has the little combs on it with the brush as well. I'm guessing an edge brush, or edge comb. So I'm taking that comb and I'm slightly dipping it into that dye that I poured into that bowl. And when you pour this dye, you guys, you don't need a whole lot. I promise you, a little of that dye will go a long way, and that's how you can save money, because it will most definitely last you a long time. You most definitely don't want to waste products out here. Gas already going up, hair dye gonna go up next. So we want to save each drop we can. So what I'm doing is, I did separate the hair. As you can see, I did part it in the middle. And what I'm doing now is, I slightly dip that comb, just the end of the comb part. I dipped it into that Adore, that dye, and I'm slightly taking my time and combing it in. So basically, you know how you comb your hair, right? On your edges, you're just combing it. So you're just going to do this the same exact way. Same way. And you're going to be very gentle about this, because what we don't want to do is, we don't want to stain the lace. We don't want to get anything on that lace. And probably a couple seconds ago, when I showed you guys the clip, before I started talking, you can actually see the part in the hair, in the 613 hair. It was no dye on it. That's the look we want to go for. We don't want any dye on the lace. We most definitely don't want any dye in the middle of the part, or wherever your part is at. And you can see how gentle I am with it. I'm not really going too deep with it. I'm just sticking right in the front, because that's where I want it at. But yeah, this was most definitely one of my favorite units that I made as far as rooting. And I also have another video on my YouTube with me rooting another 613 wig, but that one was brown, and I call that the raspberry unit. Simply because the way I did it, it sort of turned out, as far as the brown roots, it was sort of a brownish reddish color. And the way it gave off, I was like, yes, I'm gonna call this the raspberry unit. And that was one of my favorite units as well. That unit looked really, really, really good. And as you can see, just by this side, like, look at the dimension of it. Like, look how that black dye is sitting there. Like, that looks good so far. And also, while you're rooting, you can go back as far as you want to go, just depending on the style that you're trying to do. Typically, when I'm rooting, I try not to go too far back to where the hair is. I try not to do that. I try to keep it to a medium length from the edges to actually where the hair is beginning. And also, you can see right there as well, I'm close by where the part is, and I'm still doing the same method on top. And only a little product, especially in that top part. You do not need a lot of product on it at all. Because what's going to happen if you do have a lot of product, you see in the front how it's just a little bit of dye. If you do use too much product, you probably will have a little bit of root dye in the front. And then at the top where your part is, it probably comes way farther down than we want. So you see how in the middle, at the top, it kind of meets. This front part and that part where your part is in the middle, where I'm at right now, those meet. I wish I can most definitely show you guys, because I'm more of a touchy-feely learner. I can look at something and learn it, but I need to most definitely be up on it. I have to touch it. I have to see it. I have to feel it. I have to grasp it in order to understand. So I'm really trying my best to help you guys understand what I'm seeing in order to help you as far as when you're dying. But it's really you having to eye it. That way you'll be more successful. Just eyeing it, you know, seeing, okay, in the front, I stop right here. That means I need to stop here in the front part and not go too low. And right here, you can also see where I'm kind of combing it in slightly. That way in the front part, where you actually lay your middle part at, you know, where you put the, what is it called? Where you put the flat iron at, the little hot comb at, that part where you kind of straighten it out. You want to comb that down some to give it the illusion that it's actually blending. Because in that top part, you don't want to just put some dye there. You don't want to just throw it there. You want to make sure you're blending that in. So that way, if someone is looking at it, or you're looking at it yourself in the mirror, you can actually see it goes from the root and it's blending in with the hair, if that's making sense. But yeah, that's what I'm doing right now. I'm just going over, making sure everything is the same length. I'm making sure everything is most definitely blended out as far as rooting. And you need to make sure it's blended out as well on the sides where you put your baby hairs at. Basically an example right here, how I'm going in, making sure everything is smooth, making sure it's actually blending in. We don't want anything to look botchy as far as you're dyeing, especially rooting like this on 613 hair. You can't get away with that. You gotta most definitely make sure that's blended in really good. And that's why you guys see me keep going back over it, keep going back over it. I like to make sure everything is most definitely neat, especially when it comes to rooting. Because just dyeing the hair, you can get away with that, just dyeing the hair. But rooting, especially with this hair, you gotta make sure it's all smooth out and blended in with each other. I feel like a teacher. I need to host a class or something. And this is actually my first time actually talking through a whole video, but I really wanted you guys to understand. I really wanted to do an in-depth video from my brain, what I be thinking about and processing and how I do things, because sometimes that can actually help someone else, you know. Someone's probably just like me. They probably think alike. And I really just want to help share my knowledge that I have. I'm gonna drink some water, y'all. And right here, I'm still just going in, making sure all of that is even, making sure it's blended out. Because I really want to make sure it's even in the front, because I don't want to have a root dye where one part is longer and black than the other part is, if that's making sense to you guys. And I'm just going to keep doing that until I feel like I'm comfortable with how it's actually looking. And that's what I'm doing to the top as well. That's what I was telling you guys about. I'm blending that in, pulling it down so that it can actually blend and catch up with the other part in the front that I actually dyed. But yeah, guys, if you haven't already, make sure you go and check out my synthetic wig review that I did on my channel. I think I have 2 at this point, and I also have some more videos that's dropping. I actually have 3 videos that's dropping. So make sure you stay tuned in for that. And y'all, look at this. Look at this. I did the other side, and y'all, just look how amazing that looks. And to me, that looks so good. Like, I feel like if I would have did the brown, it wouldn't have this outcome like this. Like, that looks really, really, really good. And now I'm just going back in, making sure everything is completely smooth, making sure everything is completely blended out, especially where that part is at the top. Because now, since you have black dye on both sides, you can now see that part clearer. And you can tell, you know, if it's crooked, if it needs a little bit more dye here. And that's what I'm doing now. I want to make sure everything is crisp, clean. Like, that's what we're going for. Especially if you're doing units or you want to start making wigs and selling them. You have to make sure, you know, as far as coloring, if you're doing this, that everything is evenly, everything is smoothed out correctly. That line is correct. Your coloring is on point. So you most definitely got to have an eye for it, you know. If you haven't done it, if you haven't did it before, practice on it, you know. Buy your frontal and just try to, you know, buy your 613 frontal, or it doesn't even have to be 613. And just put you some dye in the thing, and girl, get to dyeing, okay? Because I promise, once you get this skill down packed, it's nothing that can stop you. Like, that looks so good. So good. Y'all, I am not good with that camera. That camera was giving me some trouble. And now, after I got done dyeing it, I did wash out the hair with purple shampoo. And now I'm just below drying it. I did another step too, y'all. I can't remember. And that is how it looks, guys. And y'all, this is the final look. Look at this. Oh, okay. But y'all, thank you so much for tuning in, watching. Subscribe.